We are going to create an app that parses JSON objects locally and display them into ListView. Hello my friends and welcome to Master Coding channel. If you want to learn coding and start your programming career, you came to the right place. Hit subscribe and like so you help us making new tutorials. Let's begin. We will create an app that parses a JSON string and display them into a list view. So for that, I will create a list view, drag and drop into the main activity, and add the constraints for that and making it for zeros. And I will give it an ID as list view. Now, I will declare this variable and the widgets list view and called listy, and I will initialize it into the onCreate. But till now, I will create them. Now I will create a JSON string that we are going to work with it in our application. So this is the JSON string. This is the company as a nodes and an object title, the JSON parser tutorial, an array of companies, and this is a format of JSON. So check the description for below for this file, for this the source code, and downloading this string. Now you see guys, this is the JSON format. So if you want to learn more about JSON syntax, go back to the previous videos and see the tutorials. We go to the onCreate method and we start by getting the JSON objects. Remember guys, JSON have arrays and have an object. So there is difference between them. So first of all, we are going to get the JSON object. But first, let's try to initialize our list view. Find view by ID list view, and we create a list because we are going to store the items, the objects of JSON into a list and display into a list view. We are going to create a list of type string called items, and we are going to create of type new array list. So this is for storing items in a list. Second step, we are going to creating a JSON object, and this is in Java. This is the root object and called new JSON object. And what is this is called? This is called title and array. So we have two main things in this code, this JSON code. We have an array and we have an object. So JSON object called array and new, I will remove this. So the root is called title, JSON string, and the third getting the array by going to create JSON array, not JSON object. So we have JSON object and we have a JSON array. The first we have created in this way by making it a root object. We are telling Java compiler that hey, the root object that we are going to parse is called root, and the new JSON object is passing the string of the JSON and getting the data from an array by making a JSON array called array and passing the root object, the root JSON object, and putting get JSON array. Now setting the title, this dot set title, I will set title root dot get string, and we are going to get the name property from this, or the title property from this object. Since we have many objects, we are going to make a loop. So loop to get all company details and objects. Go back to the string, you see many companies. These are the nodes, these are the details. So we are going to make a loop that goes through all these objects and get the company details from them. For that, we have created a for, and it will stop for an at array.length. So guys, remember, we are looping through this JSON string, going every single node, telling the compiler, hey compiler, whenever you see company title, go and grab it. This is an object, store it into items list view. List. So we are adding list, an array list called items. Every object we are going to pass through this JSON object and getting the company detail and storing it into items list view. Okay, for the sixth step, creating an adapter for the list view items, we need, after storing these variables into a list, an array list, we are going to store these and display these data into a list view. For using a list view, we are going to use an adapter. For that, we have created an array adapter called adapter, and we have passed the simple list view item 1. Now checking if the list view have, or the list have is not null. So it's having data. So if it's having data and does not equal to null, list_set adapter to adapter. Okay, this is the way we have setting the list to getting an adapter. The final steps is getting the nested objects from the list view, from the list order, from the root. So JSON object, nested root. Since we have a nested objects at the last of the string, we are going to create a new JSON object called nested. And from this nested, we are going not to display them directly into our application. We are going to display them into the logcat. For that, we are going to put log.d and passing a tag called tag, and we are going to pass the nested and .get boolean. So what is the boolean? It is true or false. In our case, it is set it to true. So this is now our nested object, and the value is true in the component. This is our application, and congratulations guys, we have created our application correctly, and we have here the nested object. So for that, I will see the logcat. Let's try to run it again. So our application is working fine. The flag value is set to true, so it is parsing the variable from the nested object. Thank you guys. I hope you benefit from this video. See you in next videos.